How to build the big next things by using MongoDB Atlas on Microsoft Azure. My name is Frederic Favelin, and I'm globally leading the Cloud Partner Solution Architect team at MongoDB. To compete and win in the digital economy, you need to make your application smarter and surface insight faster. Smarter apps use analytics to take action automatically for the users. First, your apps drive competitive advantage by deepening customers' engagement and satisfaction as they interact with your business. And secondly, your apps unlock higher efficiency and profitability by making intelligent decisions faster and fresher by leveraging more accurate data. So, what are some of the use cases? While this example illustrates different use cases in the industry, they are all one key demand in common. They need to work in real-time flow of an application using current data. The analytics output generated in this example are often consumed directly by software written by developers to control the application behaviors. They are not traditional BI reporting queries produced by your team and consumed by users starting at dashboards. Meeting this opportunity places exacting demands on analytics. Analytics need to run on live application data that are more often than few seconds old, and that it's constantly being updated as part of the application. Result from analytics needs to be delivered within the flow of the application, typically no more than 1 second. We need to support analytics running repeatedly thousands or more times per second from thousands of concurrent users, and ultimately the analytics output is consumed by the application of microservice. It's not a dashboard. There are a new class of analytics that are built by developers as part of the applications. As well, we'll see that they are very different from traditional analytics built by your analytics team. These use cases are only possible because of our developers data platform built on MongoDB Atlas. Built around the most intuitive way to work with the data. This is the document data model. Document data model maps how modern developers think and code. Documents are inherently flexible while allowing data governance when it's required. Document can address a variety wide of use cases and can be used to model both structured and semi-structured data. A single and consistent way to work with data across the transactional search and analytical workloads in your organization, and adding also strong consistent by default with support of multi-document ACID transactions. This is provided by the unified query interface for a broad set of workloads type. But MongoDB Atlas supports a wide range of modern application types as they grow and evolve. In addition to supporting common application types and requirements, the platform allows to support distributed applications, create a global data layer in a few clicks, adding reactive mobile application powered by the local data that automatically syncs to the cloud, but also add serverless support for with the development frameworks. This is built on a tested platform that allows you to run it anywhere, cutting the edge and comprehensive control to ensure data security and privacy, having continuous uptime with advanced automation to ensure performance, no matter at scale. The MongoDB for VS Code extension is incredibly popular. Since its release, usage of the extensions has grown steadily, and as Q4 for FY23, the extension had an average of 13K weekly active users. It has been downloaded more than 750 times, and from the VS Code extension store, an average of 10K new installed each week. The MongoDB for VS Code extension is free, downloadable extension that makes it easy for developers to build applications and work with that data in MongoDB directly from their VS Code environments. This launch will officially take the extension from preview to GA, and I am proud to announce you that this is now GA during this Microsoft Build event. Along with the transition to GA, we will release new capabilities in the extensions, namely autocomplete from the MongoDB query API and improvement to playground features to make them true JavaScript playground. With the MongoDB VS Code extension now GA, it is easier than ever to build applications and work with your data in MongoDB right from the VS Code environment you already know and love. The extensions allow you to connect to your application deployment on Atlas and anywhere else so that you can explore and query your data. You can also view database schema index to optimize your data model and use playground features or access the MongoDB shell for more advanced scripting operations. And with the most recent release of this extension, GA, intelligent autocomplete for MongoDB's queries API and optimization to the playground experience make more event a delightful experience. Now that we have seen that we can develop application using the VS Code extensions, let's see how to build an application powered with real-time analytics. We will start with a mobile or web application, which is going to connect to MongoDB Atlas thanks to the drivers. MongoDB Atlas, our developer data platform, where we will leverage MongoDB Atlas, which includes also Atlas Search. We will create also on point 3, a data federation on our MongoDB database so that it can be used by Atlas SQL interface to connect to Power BI thanks to the connector. And this feature is currently in early preview. Build a real-time data pipeline between MongoDB Atlas and Azure Synapse Analytics by leveraging MongoDB change data capture and Azure Functions. And soon we will get the capability to integrate within the data lake and, of course, the data federation, the data hosted on Azure Blob Storage. Stay tuned for a future announcement on this. Now this is demo time. Let's build a simple demo with our e-commerce application where we will get the setup of an Atlas cluster, see how we are going to leverage Azure Functions for applications and set up the Synapse Analytics. And at the end, we will also integrate Power BI for data visualization. You can scan this QR code in order to retrieve the code of this demo. So now let's start with the demo. So let's start with the VS Code extension, which is going to help us to build this application. So once you have installed the VS Code extension there, then you will have this leaf on MongoDB. And within the leaf on MongoDB, you will be able really to connect on the database, have a couple of visibility on the different schema, navigate between your collections, but also have the capability really to build a playground. When you are in building a playground, then what you will be able to do is really to select it and really to play the playground. You just have to select what you want to do or run all the JavaScript functions. Then that's on it. Let's go for it. And then you have the result of the playground in the straight within VS Code. But what is really interesting also there is that you will be able also to select your pipeline, and then by clicking on this light, then you will be able really to export your code within your favorite language. That will be something which is going to be really interesting, as you will be able to get it straight with it, and then you can also add also the import statement and include the driver syntax in order to get it done. Now let's that we have built and play a little bit with the playground, let's move to the e-commerce demo that I would like to showcase to you. So here it is, e-commerce demo that we have. So what we would like to do is, this is an e-commerce platform, and we've got product, and we're going to add product within our cart. What will be really interesting there is we will be really able to add things within the cart, and then what could be done is really to proceed with a checkout. So let's click on the checkout there, and then we will be really able to proceed with the checkout, entering the information about the payment. I'm missing thing there, having a valid information, then let's pay for it. So now to what we have done here is, let's have a look at what is done within the background as our order has been placed. So we're going to go to the database, and within the database, we're going to look at our e-commerce collections, and specifically the commerce ones collection. So let's do a sort on the create, and to see what are the latest entries there. And we can see here that we have our ordered, which has been placed, which is hoodies with a price of $49. So now let's build a little bit the real-time part of the activities. So how is it built, and see how things are really working on to put all of this data within Synapse. The first thing that we will have to build is really to configure ADL as a Gen 2 storage. So we have built one which is called Gen 2 storage, and we can have a look at it and get it also within the Data Explorer in order to see how and what kind of data we have. The other thing also that we can do is really to navigate using Atlas Synapse Analytics, which is going to see all what we have. So let's go to the data and to the link data, and by going to the MongoDB storage, we can retrieve our MDB storage data, and we can have our latest data, which is here within a JSON format, and we can retrieve exactly our ODs, which has been made of $49. How these things has been built. So for this, what we have done is we have built an Azure function, but also we have set up a trigger within Atlas to do it. Let's start with the Azure function itself. So the Azure function itself has been built really within a VS Code, and this is where we can have our Azure functions. And what we have built here, and we have two things which has been built there. We are providing you the code of the Python script that you will be able to see here in it, and you just have to copy paste the code which is provided within the GitHub. And we have set already a couple of variables where you will see the account name, account key, containers, directory, and file name, which are going to be the target of your ADSL Gen 2 storage. Now let's go back to MongoDB Atlas triggers to see how things have been set up. Going on MongoDB Atlas, let's go to the trigger section, and we have built a Lab Synapse trigger. And what is really important here is this is a trigger which is really based on the database itself. So we are selecting our e-commerce database with the order, and we have done it on the insert operation, but we can have done it also on update, delete things. And within the functions, what we have showcased here and what we have built is we are making the call of the Azure functions that we have built. As we have this built now, what we have is within the Synapse, we have also created a pipeline, a SQL pipeline, which is going to help us really to pass also the data also after to be really used afterwards. So this SQL pool is configured here, and we have built this SQL pool, and this is where we will be really able to get the data after to be exploited to other tools within Azure. If we look at our data here, if we go to the table, we have matched also the DB orders, but let's do SQL script here in order to see what we have done. And if we look at it, we can see our C++ OD, which has been placed here, which is at the price of $99. So the data has been passed from the application e-commerce to IDS at Gen 2, thanks to the function and the triggers that we have already set up, and then to the SQL pool so that they will be able to be reused. Now, let's get also the data visualization on top of MongoDB, so that this is where we are going to leverage Power BI. So now we have our Power BI, and what we are going to do is really to connect to connect on it. So we're going to add the connector. So we're going to click on get the data from another data source. From the get data, we're going to go to Atlas. This is where we're going to be able to connect there, and we will pass the data with a different information. And the first one, it's going to be the URI to connect there. So let's paste this information there. And then we're going to provide also the e-commerce database. Okay, let's go back here. At some point, we're going to provide also the credential in order to connect to the database. And at this stage, we are able here to get the data and navigate also straight to our e-commerce and order table, where we will be able to get the data there. So once we are here, in fact, we are really fine, and we will be able to load our data within Tableau. So time for the data to be loaded. After, once your data are going to be loaded, you can really define them as you really want to get them displayed. But we're going to get our data here, and we have imported all of our collection there, so that now if we want to get the grid visualization out of it, let's have the data view there about all of our data, and sorting them with the created order. Then we should be able to get the latest data that we have inserted here, which is our ODs with a price of $49. So here it is. Now you want to replicate this demo on Microsoft Azure. So let's start it today. You can scan this QR code and use the code in order to get $100 of Atlas credits. And MongoDB Atlas is available on Azure Marketplace, which is going to help you to retire Microsoft Azure consumptions commitment, have a consolidated billing through the Azure Marketplace, have simplified procurement in just a few clicks, and have a pay-as-you-go with no minimum or upfront commitment. But also, this offer is also available through customizable private offers. Thanks for listening to me.